And some business stories now. The Debt Management Office, on behalf of the federal government, is offering for subscription for FGN Bonds for August 2023 through auction. The DMO, in a circular, said the first of is for April 2029 bond valued at 90 billion naira with an interest rate of 14.55% per annum. 10-year reopening. The second offer is June 2033 bond, also valued at 90 billion naira with interest rate of 14.7% per annum. 10-year reopening closely followed by June 2038 FGN bond valued at another 90 billion naira with interest rate of 15.45%. A 15-year reopening. According to the DMO, for reopening of previously issued bonds where the coupon is already set, bidders will pay a price corresponding to the yield to maturity bids that clears the volume being auctioned plus any accrued interest on the instrument. Well, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission in the first quarter report of 2023 says Niger currently owes Nigeria 4.22 billion naira for power supply. Data from the Niger state power firm, Nigerian Electricity Society, shows that the firm is yet to remit the $5.48 million invoice issued for power supply by the Nigerian market operator. The NEC report shows that none of the underlisted international customers made any payment against the cumulative $16.1 million invoice issued to them in Q1 of 2023. Paraspeed has $3.4 million, Transcorp SBE $3.85 million, Mainstream Nigelec $5.48 million, and Dunkpani CETT $3.32 million. The Commission therefore mandates market operators to invoke the provision of the market rules to curtail the payment indiscipline being exhibited by the various market participants. And let's dive into the communications industry now, where data from the Nigerian Communications Commission says capital inflows by way of foreign direct investment into the nation's telecom industry declined by more than 40%. The NCC reveals this in its report entitled 2022 Subscribers Network Data Annual Report. Stakeholders in the sector, however, blame the decline on foreign exchange fluctuations. According to the report, contribution to the nation's GDP during the period under review increased from 12.61% in the fourth quarter of 2021 to 13.55% in Q4 of 2022. The chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecommunications Operators of Nigeria, Mr. Benga Adebayo, said there has been a significant fluctuation in forex market of the country, which resulted in the decline. And moving further, after the inauguration of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform with the objective of enhancing revenue collection and efficiency, the chairman of this committee, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, speaks more on expectations moving forward.
The second pillar is on revenue transformation, including tax reforms. So this is the pillar under which we're going to be looking at our tax policy. The current one was introduced in 2017. It's overdue for review because the intention was to review within every 5 years. It's now going to 6 years already. We also plan to rewrite some of the very old tax laws. The stamp duty law is a law of 1939, even before our independence, before the internet was invented. So the idea is to make it modern, simple, and if possible, we plan, this is not a promise, this is a plan. We plan to convert some of those laws into the various languages so that people can connect with the laws that they need to comply with. Then the third aspect, the third pillar, is growth facilitation. Now, the growth facilitation is not referring to revenue growth. It's actually referring to inclusive economic growth and competitiveness. So Mr. President was very clear, even from the day he was inaugurated himself, that his government is going to deal with impediments to businesses, investments, and growth.
Away from that now, Asian stocks hit a one-month low and logged the weekly loss today, while the dollar headed for a monthly gain after U.S. inflation came in steady without surprising on the low side. U.S. stock features ESC high were flat and European futures fell 0.5%. MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside Japan was down 0.7%, and stocks in Hong Kong and China, the biggest drag, it was down 1.6% for the week, while the broader Hang Seng fell 0.6%. And to the United States, prices continue to rise despite a sharp increase in interest rates to curb inflation. According to Labor Department, headline inflation for the month of July surges to 3.2% compared to 3% in June, driven by housing, that's higher housing, car insurance, and food costs. Core prices increased at a relative modest of 0.2%, the same pace as between May and June, while prices for some items, including used cars and airline fares, dropped. Many analysts are expecting costs for housing, which has weighed heavily on the economy, to ease in coming months, pointing to a slowdown in rental rates. And now moving on, Country Garden, one of China's biggest property developer, has warned that it could see a loss of up to $7.6 billion for the first 6 months of the year. The announcement is one of the latest, I beg your pardon. The world's second largest economy, this week's official figures shows China slipped into deflation for the first time in more than 2 years. Now, exports have also fallen sharply, while youth unemployment is at record highs. Shares in Country Garden holdings were down by more than 5% in Hong Kong trade today. The property giant is expected to record a net loss ranging from 45 billion RMB, that's about $6.24 billion, to about 4.9 billion US dollars for 6 months ended 30th June 2023. India's Tata Group has unveiled a new logo, brand, and livery for Air India as part of its multi-million-dollar transformation of the former national carrier. The new logo includes a design with gold, red, and purple colors, which will replace the old one of a red swan. The rebranding exercise comes years after Tata Group bought the debt-ridden airline in October 2021. The group CEO, Campbell Wilson, said the company will not completely do away with the airline's iconic mascot of the cheerful Maharaja, which has been one of India's most recognizable symbols. Now, Air India was founded by the Tata Group in 1932 before it was taken over by government in 1953. And crude oil prices fell marginally today as investors weighed optimistic demand forecast from the OPEC producer group against mixed economic data in top importer China. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude fell to sell at $82.69 with a downward price review of 0.16%. Brent also experienced a downward price review of 0.13% to sell at $86.29 per barrel. Bonny Light recorded a price decline of 0.06% to sell at $88.66. And for the OPEC basket, crude dealers are offering $88.20 with an uptick of 0.67%.